Live from Sin City, it's the Socks and Pinstripes Podcast. And now, here's the star of the show, Diet Dr. Griffin!
This is Diet Dr. Griffin back with another episode of Socks and Pinstripes Podcast. How are we doing, Shane?
We're doing good. I messed up my ankle on a curve on my least favorite route. And
Oh,
luckily, though, is the same. It's more like a hyperextension. I've done it once before on a step instead of a curb.
yeah.
And so luckily I knew that I just needed to take some Advil and power through it and keep it loose the next couple of days. Because the last time that happened, it hurt really bad, but then I didn't walk on it and it got worse to the point where I couldn't even walk on it, and then I had to go to physical therapy. So this time I put on the ankle brace, ate 4 ibuprofen, and just walked it off the last 2 days. But it was pretty painful to start in the morning. So
We might have to talk off the air because I've had some Achilles issues with my heel and stuff before, and some of those mobility things that I learned really helped out.
yeah.
So we'll talk about that off the air. Anywho, on the air, this week was the NFL draft. And
Sports ball.
I know you're not a big NFL draft guy, and
Although
I'm
I
not
did see that the Seahawks drafted a pretty cool and interesting looking quarterback, so I'm hopeful for the future.
well, the Browns drafted two quarterbacks, including Shedeur Sanders in the fifth round, who was projected at one point to be like a top five pick. So that
Yeah.
was a whole nother thing. So when I was watching the draft, I had this moment of inspirado where I thought, how cool would it be if we drafted our own teams? Not just in fantasy, but if you and I, draft our own teams and see how they do over the course of a season.
Let's go.
So we talked after some multiple discussions and how we decided we were going to do this. We decided we were going to do two drafts. So basically, we're going to draft our pitchers today, and we're going to draft our hitters next week. So it's sort of be a two-parter episode here. And we're going to follow the salary cap, the luxury tax line, basically. So our combined salary for the teams is going to be $241 million. And we're just basing it off of this year's salaries. So whatever guys are making this year
Nice.
is what we're
Not
doing.
including signing bonuses, right?
Well, we're basically going off of average annual value of the contracts for
Okay.
like the luxury tax number, whatever the luxury tax number is kind of what we're using, and that's typically going to be the average annual value.
Okay.
For all the players that I pulled up like a list of players I had in my draft pool, and all of I looked on Spotrac for my numbers.
Yeah.
So the rules for what we're doing today is we have a 26-man roster we have to assemble. And for the pitcher side of what you're doing today, we have to have at least six starting pitchers and at least six relievers. And then there's obviously one additional spot. So we're drafting 13 players apiece today. And we had some, coin tosses and other things. And Shane won the coin toss to get the first pick, but he elected to get the first pick on the hitter side, which means I'm going to have the first pick for the pitcher side. Now,
yeah, I think I chose correctly. I've gone back and forth on whether that was a good decision.
well, we'll find out how it goes when we end up doing a thing. One thing that we did agree on was that Shohei Ohtani would be treated as a hitter since he hasn't pitched at all this year, didn't pitch at all.
He's never going to ever pitch again.
That's entirely possible. It's entirely possible.
Here first.
We also we're going to come up with team names and locations of where we want to pitch. Shane, what name and home ballpark did you decide on?
I'm doing the Brown Recluses, and my home ballpark is PNC.
Just out of curiosity, what made you decide to choose PNC Park as your home field?
It's one of the best ballparks in America. My dad went there, and he said he really loved it. And I wanted a park that would be kind of balanced-ish between hitting and pitching.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to go full hitting like Great America, and I didn't want to go full pitching like Seattle Mariners. So
I want to go to PNC Park. That is definitely one of the crown jewel parks that I've not been to. So
yeah,
I'm really curious.
everyone speaks so highly about it. It
Oh
was
yeah,
between
yeah.
that and the Phillies ballpark. I forget what that one's called, but those are the two
Yeah.
choices I was going between. So
Yeah. For me, I have decided to name my team the Colorado Rocky High. And I have chosen Coors Field as my ballpark. And
nice.
it is just out of this just being a fun little experiment.
Wait, do we just choose do I choose the Pirates then? So if I'm in PNC?
No, no, no. You can choose whatever thing. I just
Okay.
wanted to
I'm
do
gonna
the
think about my team name a little bit more. I'm not solid on that, but I'm
okay.
definitely pitching out of PNC. So
Yeah, I want to do Coors Field. I was doing the Colorado Rocky Mountain High because I want to make a marijuana joke about being a mile high. Or I could do the Mile High Club or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But I just
So
like
team
I
names
like
have to be solidified next week during hitters.
yeah,
How about that?
yeah,
All right.
that yeah. I just wanted to have the Colorado. I feel like I'm the only chance that Colorado Rockies have ever getting a winner because I'm the only guy who cares enough about the Colorado Rockies and thinks that baseball is better when the Rockies are good. It's just
Yeah.
this weird thing I had. I've always had a fan affinity for that team, even though they've constantly just never played up to snuff. And I
Yeah.
think it's just because Coors Field is such a unique environment and it plays so much differently than every other ballpark. I think it's one of the things I love about baseball is just that everything is different
Yeah.
and,
It's
and
pretty
has the
cool.
capability of being different. Ballparks have different batter's eyes, they have different dimensions. I mean, they have requirements, but they have uniform requirements, but they also have like variations across the game, and that's just one of the things I love about baseball.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, let's get started with the draft. And I am going to lead off because I have the first pick on the pitcher side, and I am going to pick Paul Skeens.
I
And
freaking knew you were gonna do that.
well, not only is Skeens an excellent pitcher, he's only making $875,000 this year.
Oh, I know. I That was my
So,
first pick too. So
and one thing I wanted to say is for how we're going to measure over the course of a season, we are going to be using WAR as our statistic, and basically whoever has the most combined WAR ends up winning. It's one of those things where like both pitchers and hitters have WAR, so it's one of the easier ways we can measure statistics. So with your first pick, Shane, who do you have?
Hunter Brown, Houston Astros.
Hunter Brown. That's a good pick. He is currently making $807,000.
Yep, that's right. Coming in under 1 mil. Let's go.
So two cheapskates to start things off. I am going to take. Oh, I put Hunter Brown twice on my sheet. That's funny.
Yeah, because you wanted him twice. So
I am going to pick Garrett Crochet, and he
ooh,
is making $3.8 million this year as a starting pitcher.
all right.
Because remember, his extension doesn't kick in until next year, so that's when he's going to be
You know,
overpriced.
I forgot that. That's why I didn't. But I wasn't gonna get him anyway. So whatever. It all worked out
Ah,
in the end for me. So
all right. So who do you have next, Shane?
Brandon. Ah,
Brandon Fott. Okay, he's a guy I did not even put on my chart, so you're gonna have to tell me what he's making.
I'm pretty sure it's 700. We'll double check all these numbers later, but I'm pretty sure it's $799,000 and 400 in change.
I'm gonna highlight that because I thought he signed an extension, and I don't know if that necessarily changed his numbers for this year or not.
I don't think it changes numbers for this year, but yeah, highlight it. So
Well, I'll highlight it to check.
yeah.
Okay, so my next pick is going to be Mason Miller,
Oh yeah,
closer for
I
the A's,
knew you were gonna
and
do that.
making $765,000. So I get pretty much one of the best bullpen arms on the board.
Okay, says you. So
One of the best, I mean.
I'm just kidding.
We all know you love Mason Miller.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Who do you got,
I
Shane? Number three.
I'm gonna take. Hold on, I gotta keep track of my picks here. I'm gonna take Hunter Green on the Cincinnati Reds.
Hunter Green. And Hunter Green is making $8.833 million this year.
Let's go, Hunter.
All right. With my next pick, I am going to take Tarek Scooble Dooby Doo.
Nice.
And he is making $10.1 million this year. A
Oh,
little high, but
we broke the 10 milli finally.
when you get the AL Cy Young Award winner from last season and he's pitching pretty well this year, I feel pretty good about that pick as having a pretty good 1, 2, 3 already on my rotation.
Okay.
So who
Uh,
you
dude, I'm going through the bargain barrel right now, and I'm gonna go Nick Pivetta.
Nick Pivetta. Interesting choice there because Nick Pavetta's actual AAV is $13 million this year.
Oh, I thought it was only $1 million.
No, that's what he's getting paid, but his average annual value on his contract is 13.
Oh, let's go. Can I change my pick then?
Well, technically you've already made the pick, so
Damn it.
you're stuck with Nick Pivetta.
I thought it
We'll
was
get
only $1 million. That's bull.
that's the funky accounting. We were using average annual values of the contract.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, that's why I kept hearing they were gonna probably trade him next year.
Yeah.
But
Well,
his according to Spotrac, his average annual value of his contract is 13.75.
okay.
Even though
Well,
he's
he's,
making, even though his technically his payroll or his cash annual is listed 4 million for this year.
he's pitching really well, so whatever.
He is pitching very well, I'll give you that. And he has a good home ballpark. So I think that's gonna be one of those things that really helps him out. So with my next pick, I am going to pick Brian Woo
Nice.
of the Seattle Mariners making 783,300.
Oh, okay.
So who you got next, Shane?
I got the here. I'm gonna go Porter Hodge of the Cubbies,
And
relief pitcher.
yes, I have Porter Hodge. Porter Hodge is not on my chart. So how much is Porter Hodge making?
$767,000. Highlight it, check it later.
I'm not doubting that he's on a rookie deal. So that we'll get the finite numbers later, but I'm
Yeah.
definitely in agreement that he's on a rookie deal. So.
Well, I already messed up Nick Pivetta, so now I don't trust myself anymore. So
All right, with my next pick, I am going to take Spencer Schwellenbach of the
Ooh,
Braves,
okay.
making $770,000.
Schwellenbacher.
A popular pick for, according to some of the nerds, as a potential Cy Young candidate.
Oh, okay. All right, just going there already, huh?
Well, one of the nerds picked him as a fantasy Cy Young Award winner, but
Okay.
so right now after actually we'll recap after 6 picks.
Okay. So I'm picking six right now.
Yes, you're picking your sixth player.
I'm gonna go with Michael King on the Padrinos, the Friars.
Yes, and I have him on my list. He's making 7.7 million.
Okay, nice job, Michael King.
Okay, so after 6 picks, I have 5 starters and 1 reliever. You have 5 starters and 1 reliever. And
Mm-hmm.
total salary for you is $32,706,333.
Oh, nice.
My salary currently is $17,143,300.
Nice, just double. That sounds great.
Yep. So we'll see how things go. And for my next pick, I am going to take Cade Smith
Okay.
from the Guardians, and he's making $785,000 as reliever. He's been getting some saves this week because of the fact that Class A has been struggling his butt off to start the season.
Oh, okay.
So I have heard numerous people say that if he was on a different team, he'd probably be closing for at least 10 teams in the league.
Oh, wow. All right.
So people think very highly of this guy.
We'll see if the rookie can keep it up then.
Well, he's not a rookie. He's at least been on the team for a couple of years.
Well, let's see if this weirdo can keep it up then.
Who do you got, Shane, for pick number 7?
I'm going to take Lucas Urseg.
Lucas Urseg. I had him on my list, $776,000.
Yeah.
Our relievers going here. Okay, I am going to take Griffin Jacks of
Right.
the Twinkies.
Twinks.
Another solid reliever. He's making 2.365 million.
Okay.
And he kind of splits time with Johan Duran as the closer for that team.
Oh, nice.
Who do you got with your next pick, Shane?
Dude, I'll go Twinkies as well. I'll go starter, though. I'll go Joe Ryan.
Joe Ryan. I had him on my list, and one of the things I was thinking about was like, how many home runs did Joe Ryan give up at Coors Field? Because he's a fly ball pitcher, so he would just probably get hammered there.
Yeah.
But he was definitely somebody I was thinking about on my list here. So with my next pick, I am going to take Shane Baz of the Rays for
Nice.
1.4 million.
I think I'm going to go with Jason Adams.
Jason Adam, he's making $4.8 million. He's a
Yay.
solid reliever for the Padres.
Padrinos.
And with my next pick, I'm going to go with Anthony Munoz of the Mariners, making 1.875 million.
Anthony Munoz.
On
Jeez.
on whatever Munoz is Andres Munoz?
Yeah, Andres
I
Munoz.
wrote Munoz on my list.
Okay, I was like, I don't know of an Anthony Munoz. Is it Andres' brother?
I had the guy from the Mariners on my list. That was my pick. So I pulled
All
there.
right, I'm gonna go with Brian Abreu on the Astros.
Ryan Abreu, 3.45 million. And with my next pick, I am going to take Cole Reagans of the Royals and get my final starting pitcher.
Nice.
So he's making $4.4 million this year as the de facto ace of the Royals staff.
This is
Even though
true.
he's got a little groin issue right now, I think he's going to be a-okay. They're not
Yeah.
putting him on the injured list as of yet, so I think he's
I
going
got,
to be pretty good.
I got nervous with Logan Gilbert's forearm stuff.
Yeah,
I
that's a
really
scary
want to
one.
pick him, but I'm like, I don't
He
know.
was on my
So,
list until I saw the forearm thing, and I was like,
yeah,
I'm not going to take
he might
him.
be due for some Tommy John because they definitely worked him hard the last two. I mean, his nickname is the workhorse, so
Yeah, I mean, any given day you can get just throw a bad pitch and then you're done.
yeah, exactly. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna pick Pete Fairbanks. Good, solid reliever, but his post-game interviews are the best in baseball, in my opinion.
Heath Fairbanks, he's a guy making $4 million this year
Yay,
for
Pete.
the Rays, and I think I've talked about the theory about the Rays when they give him the closer spot because they've locked him into a contract.
Yeah,
I just think they know the whole arbitration system.
yeah. Well, and then they had Jason Adam. They used to split time, and then they traded him. So,
I am going to take with my next pick. I'm going to take Emmanuel Clase because he's only making $4 million.
yeah,
And if he comes back and retakes the closer job and has basically been one of the most dominant relievers in all of baseball,
yeah,
he's gonna do really well.
yeah.
So who you got
I'm gonna
next?
go. I think I'm still way above you, which isn't saving room for batters. But I'm gonna go. Let's see. This is pick number 12,
Yeah,
right?
you're at 5 relievers and 6 starters.
I'm gonna go with Tanner Scott.
Tanner Scott, and I did not write him down on my list, but I believe he's making 18 this year.
Well, this year I think he's making 12, but the average thing is probably 18. So,
I gotta look and see because he's one of those fancy guys who deferred a lot of his money.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Tanner Scott's official luxury tax number for this year with all the deferrals is 16.2.
Okay, I'll take that.
Okay. And then with my final pick, I'm gonna take Felix Bautista of the Orioles making 1 million.
Nice.
So I
With
believe that fits my roster requirements of 7 and 6.
yeah. What is Johan Duran's not injured for the whole year, is he?
Um, I think Duran is still available. He just kind of splits time.
Yeah. Okay, I'm doing Yon Duran.
And this took a lot less time than I was expecting it to. I don't have Duran on my chart, so how much is Duran making?
Well, 4.1, but highlight it because I didn't do your fancied whatever year thing. So
Oh, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's on a arbitration deal. I don't think Duran is locked up. So
yeah.
when it's like the arbitration contracts, I think it's pretty much going to be fine.
Yeah.
And of
Well,
course,
highlight it anyway. So
all right. I did verify Fought is in the 799 range, so
okay, cool.
that is good there. Of course, I searched Johan Duran. I must have spelled Johan wrong because
It's
no.
a Yon. It's like Jhoan.
Oh, yeah, I spelled it. Yeah, he's making 4.1 million is what I have for luxury tax.
Oh, cool. That's what I got too. So that's fun. It
Or
worked
one,
out.
okay.
What is his name? I think it's Logan. Oh, so Logan Gilbert went down and they pulled up this kid, Logan Evan,
Hmm.
from AAA today for the Mariners, and I have him pitching. So he's either going to pitch really, really well and give me the win, or he's going to get blown up. But he is one of the Mariners' top prospects, and he's a righty, which you know how much the Mariners love right-handed pitching. So should be.
I thought you said they love left-handed pitchers.
No, they hate left-handed pitchers.
Oh,
There's
they
only
hate
like
left-handed.
two on
Okay,
the team.
okay. Here's
I think.
something I gotta ask because this is just
Okay.
wacky with the Mariners here.
Yeah.
You guys have two Luis Castillos on your team, and
I
you have to
know, right?
distinguish based on the middle name who's pitching.
Yeah, I know. I think they sent. I think they sent Luis Castillo, the young one, down.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think there's only one again on the 26-man roster.
All right. So I did check the numbers, and you were right on your players that you checked.
Okay,
So
cool.
you are currently at 69,120,731. And so to
Nice,
write
dude.
this down, you have 171,879,269 in cap space remaining for your hitters.
All right, written down.
I am presently at 33,035,067, and I have $207,864,933 left over.
Wow, dude, just
My
going.
hitters.
You're gonna go ham for hitters, huh?
Yeah, that was kind of my thinking going into this. I have not gone through the hitters pool yet to see
Yeah,
what players I'm going to go after, and
I feel like hitters are more expensive though. So
yeah, hitters are more expensive and they also tend to have higher WARs too than pitchers
yeah, exactly. So
because the defensive factor really accounts higher in the pitching side of things.
yeah,
So we'll briefly go over some of the rules that we're going to establish for the hitter side. We're going to draft a starting nine lineup, and then we're going to
I'm
have
writing this down this time so I don't have to text you 30 minutes before we're on air and ask you what the
yeah.
rule
We only
is.
texted this over the course of the couple days beforehand, but yeah. So we have a starting nine, and then that's going to basically include your eight positions and then the DH. And then you're going to have to draft a catcher, as at least have these other four positions covered. There's obviously going to probably be a duplicate player in there, unless you draft Otani, which is going to be your designated DH.
Yeah.
You're going to have a catcher, a corner infield, which is considered first or third base, a middle infielder, which is considered second or shortstop, and then another outfielder. And I don't
Okay.
think we're going to go super specific. So, like, right field has to draft the right field, center field, center field. We're gonna do fantasy rules. So if you're listed as
Yeah.
if you're considered like an outfielder in fantasy, outfield covers whatever position you want to play him at.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't obviously we're not trying to do this for as cheaply as possible, but at the same time, it's like we do have a cap. So
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
think I don't think we're gonna be too worried. I think we're gonna both probably be spending more money on hitters on
I
the
mean, yeah. So
yeah,
I
we're
spent.
not.
I was so surprised you spent so little on pitching, although you did just seem like you got a pretty good deal for what you got. So
I mean, had a list. I had some higher priced names on my list that I didn't take, and I had some lower priced names on my list that I didn't take.
yeah,
But I felt like I got some good values across the board.
yeah,
I figured you might have taken Scooble because Scooble won the Cy Young last year and has.
yeah. But there, I don't know. It's been a long time since someone's back to back the Cy Youngs. So
No, I mean, he doesn't have to back the Cy Young award. He just has to be very good, and you'll
I
get
mean,
some
you're the one
value.
who was super low on the Tigers, so I'm surprised you even chose him. So
Dude, okay, last year in the draft, okay.
let it be known that Griffin hates the Detroit Tigers. So
Let it be known that not this past season, 2025, but in 2024, in round four, I was waffling between Tarek Skubal and Kyle Schwarber.
yeah,
Or was it
and
round five? It
you
was
chose
round.
Kyle Schwarber because
I
you hate
chose
the
Kyle
Tigers.
Schwarber.
Because you hate
I
the Tigers.
I do not hate the Tigers. I thought Tarek Skubal would actually win the Cy Young Award going into the season, and I just thought that the hitter would be more valuable, and
Hmm.
obviously Kyle
How'd
Schwarber.
that work out for you?
I won the championship, so it worked out very well for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I feel sad and lonely because I don't have Kyle Schwarber for like the first time in like 3 years. He has like always
Oh
been
yeah, that's
my
right.
he's always been my rock.
He's been your rock. That's like if anyone ever drafts Brian Abreu, I think I'll cry a little bit inside. So
Yeah. All right. Well,
he's
now
my solid setup guy. He just sets it up. Now that holds are part of the league. I mean, we're all golden. So
let's see. Now that the games have officially started, Taylor did not put Aaron Judge in the lineup.
hmm. I hope he hits like 5 home runs on the bench.
Well, I did my conscience thing.
Yeah,
I did.
surprised you even did that. So
Well, only reason I did that was because Taylor was making moves this morning.
wouldn't let me back out of Nick Pavetta, but you telling other people how to run their teams
The
for them. So
reason, the reason, the reason I only reason I felt bad about not mentioning it was because it was Yahoo screwing it up, not her. If
okay,
she wasn't like, because she didn't pay attention to her lineup yesterday. She woke up too late to make adjustments yesterday,
yeah,
but she already made adjustments in the morning. She already picked up multiple guys. It was because Yahoo said that it was one of those Yahoo screwed up versus
mm,
her screwing up. You know,
mm, hmm,
I felt bad if I at least didn't bring it up that the game was canceled. If she didn't
yeah,
look at her lineup and realize what I was trying to tell her, and I can tell her that now, but I felt I was trying to do the right thing. I didn't want to
still says it's
win.
postponed on. It still says it's postponed on Yahoo, but yet the game has started. So,
Yeah, yeah. It's only on the phone though. It doesn't say it on the computer. Like I'm looking
oh
at my
really?
desktop. Yeah.
So just the app is
It's just
messed
the
up.
app
Then.
that's messed up, and that's the why, because Yahoo is screwed up, not her. Like not not
Okay, so
not
I guess we should ban the app, and then when everyone complains, re allow the app so that you look really good.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're just learning from world leaders. So
Do you ever see this movie called Wrong or Right?
no,
Okay, so I think it's called Wrong or Right. It's from the early 80s, and it's stars Sean Connery as this kind of crazy reporter, and it's so prophetic towards like the future of like 9/11 politics and everything, because the whole premise of this
oh,
movie revolves around like Middle East terrorists, and there's this whole plot to do like a nuclear bomb in New York City, and and it's told in this extremely satirical way
Yeah.
and there's like suicide bombers and all this and wacky. It's a lot of tongue in cheek, but it's kind of serious, and you kind of look at it like in the 80s, like this is whole totally farcical, but then it realized like a lot of this stuff actually happened.
Yeah.
And there's this great clip, and I think it's in the trailer of the movie, where like the president of the United States is like somebody's calling for him. I forget who it is. And he says, I'm don't say yes, don't say no, don't say maybe. Say you'll call back, but don't. And then I think the guy says after that, he said, that's how you stay president.
That's how you stay president.
But yeah, it's
Yeah, sure seems
it,
it. It sure seems that way.
yeah, it's a really, really interesting movie to watch in the context of like having 9/11 happen in the early 2000s and realizing like how how wacky everything is. How you think everything is just so crazy back in the early 80s, and then you realize, oh, this kind of thing is completely normal now.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll have to send you the trailer for it because
yeah.
it's a
Please do.
trip.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
trip. And on that note, do you have any closing remarks?
Yeah. So my boy, Eugenio Suarez, became the 19th player in baseball to hit 4 home runs in a game that he still wound up losing. But the first person to do that was Ed De La Hanty on September 25th, 1901.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's even crazier. In 1901 that they end up doing that.
yeah, exactly.
Because like nobody
You
hit
got like
home runs back then.
Willie Mays and Lou Gehrig are on that list too. So,
And Sean Green and
yeah,
did Nando
JD
hit?
Martinez.
Yeah, JD Martinez was the last guy who did it, I believe, and he
Yeah, no,
unfortunately.
yeah, you're correct. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, well, they were saying that online. I don't think he's signed on with anybody to play this year. I think he's just quietly going to retire probably.
probably.
So on that note, we will see you guys next week. And I think Suarez is going to be an early front runner for the Artie Moreno best performance in a loss category.
Yeah, that has to be honestly.
Yeah, that is such a
I don't
performance.
even know how
Like
you still lose that game. What is that, like 8 RBIs at least or something like that?
I think it was only five.
Oh, okay. So it's just a bunch of couple of solos and 1 2 run jack.
I believe it was only five. I mean, you're playing against Lily this week, who has him, so you
Oh,
can.
that's why I've been losing the home run category. It's okay. On
Yeah.
the doubleheader, for Baltimore's doubleheader, accidentally left Gunnar Henderson and Jordan Westberg on the bench, who had 10 hits combined, and I would be winning that category if I
Ugh.
would have done that. So,
Well, I left Correa on the bench and he has a double already, but
uh,
Correa has been so bad this year that it's like,
I know it's such a bummer because he was so good last year, and then he just stopped playing after the All Star break, which really hurt my team, honestly.
yeah, he has just been he's been so bad, but like I've been wanting to cut him, but shortstops are so bad across the board right now that it's like, who am I gonna pick him up for instead? I might as well just ride it out.
Yeah, especially, I mean, Jeremy Pena's having a pretty good year, and so is the shortstop for the Athletics, the rookie.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
like Wilson or
yeah,
none
yeah.
of none of those guys are just none of those guys are available. Like I have to pick like if I want to have Zach McKinstry or something, and I'm like he's just not a heater.
No,
Like
thank you. Looks like
yeah,
Gunnar Henderson's finally starting to turn it around, which is nice because he
yeah.
had a terrible start to the year. So,
And like the only reason I'm really worried about it is because I have Corey Seager having his annual hamstring issue right now. So
yeah,
and
you better
Strider,
hope
of course,
Texas.
Strider strains his hamstring playing catch this week, and I missed that start. So that's amazing.
You better hope Texas stays in contention. Otherwise, that hamstring's going to linger all year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to be looking on the waiver wire for shortstop. So we're running out of time. See you guys next week with part two of our draft.
All right, bye now.